Hello everyone, I am Sunil from E2E Mentorship Program. So in this video, we will discuss regarding introduction to React. Okay. So first we have to know what is React, right? So what is React? So React is a JavaScript library. React is a JavaScript library. Correct, right? So we are defining React is a JavaScript library. So then we can easily say it is not a framework. It is not a framework, right? It is not a framework. Then what is the purpose of React? What is the purpose of React or use of React, right? So the purpose of React is to create user interface, right? The purpose of React is to create user interface. So from now we can easily define React like React is a JavaScript library and it is used for creating the user interface and it is not a framework, right? Very simple. So we are using the word user interface, right? Then we have to know what is user interface, right? So we have to learn before know user interface, we have to learn like what is static web page. We have to know the concept what is static web page and what is dynamic web page. How it is created, how it is created, right? What is the use of it? What is the use of it, right? Here also saying how it is created, right? What is the use of it? So first we learn what is static website. Correct, right? So before that, one important thing is there that is like React is a JavaScript library. Correct, right? Hence why the name ends with this, right? The name ends with this. It is the logo of React. It is the logo of React, right? So React is a JavaScript library which is used to create user interface, right? Then there is a question arising in our mind like who implemented and who developed the React, right? Who, right? So Facebook team developed and continuously involving in the implementation of the React. It is a very good sign, right? It is a very good sign because so React was implemented by Facebook team, correct, right? So it is a great job from Facebook. So we discussed earlier, right? We have to go for what is static website, right? So as the figure indicates you like static website means it is the combination of HTML plus CSS. HTML plus CSS, right? It is the combination of HTML plus CSS. So what is the features in that? We have two features. We have only one feature and we have not having the feature of this. That having the feature is we have only reading facility in static website. Static website, we have only reading facility. We have only reading facility. HTML plus CSS is used to create static website. Now it having the feature of only reading facility. Means how? Consider this is a web page, right? So it is a static web page. It having some contents, it having some buttons, it having some inputs, but we are not able to fill the input and we are not able to click the button, but only the display will be visible to us and the content will be visible to us, right? Correct, right? So for the content they are using HTML and for the designing purpose they are using CSS and there is no interaction. That's why that is called as static website. Then we come to know what is dynamic website. So static website we already know HTML plus CSS, right? HTML plus CSS will give static website. Static website. We know that in the static website there is no interactivity. No interactivity, right? No interactivity. So to add the interactivity, we need JSS. That's why. So dynamic website means the website interacts with users. The website interacts with users. So for example, let us consider this is a dynamic website, right? This is a dynamic website having some user input option and having some button is able to click here for the user. It is response to the user, so it is able to interactivity. It is able to provide the interactivity for the user, right? The user wants to click the button, it will click it and it will get the response like some alert box will be open or it will navigate to other page, right? Navigate to other page. So input box in the dynamic web page, what it does? It gives the options to give the input whatever the user wants, right? Whatever the user wants. That's why. So user interface is the dynamic website. So it always interacts with the user. So now we come to conclude what is React and what is the purpose of React and what is user interface. Correct, right? So now why React? So this question is arise usually from the last thoughts, right? Why? Because user interface is one, okay, which is already done by the HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript. Then why we need React, right? So why we need React? It is the big question now. So we already know to create the project or to create the user interface, there is a sufficient we have HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Then why we have an option to go for React, right? This is a big question. So before going to second option, before going to second thought or second option, there is some challenges. There is some challenges we are facing, right? We are facing, right? We are facing in JavaScript, right? So suppose if anybody wants to go for second option, so first option he may have some problems. He may have some facing some problems, right? That's why you plan to think for other options. Okay. So, what are the challenges that he has to face? Maybe JavaScript has some challenges while developing the complete web page. While developing the complete web page, right? What is the problems? So JavaScript require more code. JavaScript require more code. How? How? Right? Suppose a project having the pages of one, pages having two, and let's decide n number of pages we have. Okay. So each page having common menu bar or navbar, sidebar, navbar and sidebar. This page having the button, this page having also the button, this page having the table, this page having some card related things. Okay. Only this page having these two difference, right? Only this page having these two difference. And think once, if number of pages are there, how many user interface has to be repeated, right? So during the JavaScript, okay, developer thought JavaScript requires more code because why? There is no option, correct, right? There is because there is no provision to reuse the user interface, correct, right? Suppose if there is an option in JavaScript to reuse these user interfaces, let us consider this is one user interface, navbar this is one user interface, okay, sidebar this is one user interface, and this is one user interface. Okay, these are all one user interface we can consider. Suppose in JavaScript there is an option for using the user interface, no one will plan to change for next option rather than JavaScript, right? So that's why they are facing some problem. Development process is too long. How? Suppose in JavaScript there is a no option of reusing the user interface. What the developer do? What the developer do for the page one and page two? He has to rewrite the code again and again. He has to rewrite the code again and again for every user interface. Here also navbar is there. Again he also rewrite their code. Button is there. He also rewrite the code again. Navbar code, button code, table code, and user interface code. How much time it is needed? It was more time. Correct, right? It requires more time. And then, suppose if we have a more problem, more suppose if we have a more line of programs, then we can easy to say it is a complex to manage and debug the code, right? Next. So due to more program, okay, what it does? Performance is low. The compiler takes the time to read all the codes, and then it will be executed, right? Then it will be executed. For this, when the code is more, usually performance is low. Performance is low, right? Performance is low, right? That's why they are thinking second option or other options rather than JavaScript, right? Now, now developer wants to step stones from the JS, right? Because due to so many challenges, and you have some more question mark like where I have to go, right? Where I have to go. So we have a two option like one is library and one is framework after the developer steps down from the JavaScript, right? So he thought option for Java other than JavaScript. Then he having a big question like whether I go for library, whether I go for library or whether I go for framework. That is also one big question mark, right? That is also one big question mark. Now, so before choosing library or framework, First, we have to understand what is library and what is framework, right? So, what is library and what is framework? So, library is a collection of predefined function, class, and properties, right? So, library is a collection of, library means what? Library is a collection of predefined function, class, and properties. If there is a predefined function, there is a predefined class, there is a predefined properties, we can easily reuse the code. One big facing challenge is come to clear now while reading library. Correct, right? For example, simply assume this book is a library. Anyhow, this book is not a library. Can you simply imagine? Okay. So this book is a library. Okay. So this library having so many pages, right? So many pages, around 100 pages, around 100 pages, right? Around 100 pages. Simply we can imagine. In 100 pages, we have some predefined function, we have some predefined class, and we have some predefined properties. Okay. So let us come into what is framework. Correct, right? So framework means it is a collection of libraries. It is a collection of libraries. So library is also a collection of some predefined function, class, and some properties. And then framework is much more forward. It is a collection of libraries. Good. So simply imagine this is a framework. This framework having number of collection of libraries, right? Collection of libraries. Each book we can consider as libraries, right? So it is a collection of libraries. Correct, right? So think, imagine. So this book having 100 page. Okay. Suppose we are having around 15 books here. Each book having 100 page. Now we are having 1500 page, right? 1500 pages. From the example itself, we can come to conclude that library is easy to learn. Library is easy to learn. Framework is difficult to learn. But anyhow, so many developers are there. So many developers are there. They learn the framework and they will doing the project. Okay, it is based on that company requirement. So now I tell you compared to the library and framework. So library having some less learning curve, correct? Right? But framework having more learning curves. Framework having more learning curves. Next thing, so learning curve is very less means it also having less rules. It also having very less rules. Learning curve is very more means in the framework it has more rules. Right? Okay. It is one good option. It is second good option. It is third good option. Correct, right? In the framework, it is a collection of library. It is very good. One option. To choose whether I choose library or framework, I point out how many points are positive and how many points are negative. Correct, right? Simply. It has more learning curves. There is no positive point. It has more rules. There is no positive point. Library focus on multiple action. Using one library, we can have particular action. This is also one positive. This is also one positive. Right? So library focus on a particular action. So in framework focus on a multiple action, right? Framework focus on a multiple action. So now what is particular action, right? What is particular action and what is multiple action? For example, library we have like React is a one library and Redux is also one library, right? Redux is also one library and let's say some other libraries. Okay, okay, whatever it may be. React, Redux, and some other libraries. Okay. So particular action, correct, right? So we know that already we discussed that React is used to create UI. UI. Redux is used to create local storage or storage things. Redux is used to create storage things, right? So other libraries also having some particular actions. Particular actions. Not entire actions, right? Not entire actions. So library focus on a particular action. It's focus on particular action, not for complete entire action. Entire action means library is not able to create complete one application, right? Now, what is multiple action? We have an example like example for framework. We have like Angular. Let's say Vue.js, some others, right? Some others. So Angular will able to create complete application, complete application. Vue.js is able to create complete application, complete application. And other framework is also same. Our entire application or complete application, it is not focused on particular action. Library focus on particular action and framework focus on entire action. Means complete action or complete application, right? So this is one good positive point. So therefore, finally, it is bad point, not a good point. Okay. So one, two, three, four. So library having four positive points, framework having two positive points, right? Library having four positive points and framework having two positive points. Then either I choose library or framework. Either I choose library or framework. Correct, right? Because React library we are able to create only UI. From framework we can able to create complete application. Then why choose React? Why not? Why not framework? Why not framework? Right? So framework able to complete full application. Library we are not able to create complete application. We are able to create only UI. Then why we choose React and then why we not framework? Correct, right? So we for that we have complete solution here, right? So why React means we already learn. It is easy to learn. Learning curve is very small. Anybody can learn quickly. Okay. And one of the important thing is Facebook team supporting React for update and maintenance, right? Very good thing. And most good thing is great developer community we have for React in GitLab and GitHub, GitLab and GitHub. So and then very important thing is performance is very fast. So while we create the project, okay, while we create the project in React, the performance is very high compared to compared to projects created in Angular or framework, right? Or framework. That's why finally we choose React for these features, right? So at last have reached a definitive decision, right? So definitely we have reached a definitive decision to embark on my project journey with React, right? So from this video, we can learn, like we already learned, right? So what is React? We already learned the concept, like what is React, purpose of React, what is user interface, what is user interface, and due to learn the user interface, we study the right static and dynamic web page, right? So and then what is UI, okay, and then we'll learn regarding what is library and what is framework, difference of both, okay, and then why React, okay, and then why React, okay. So thanks for watching my video. So and then thank you all. Thank you once again.